Man, I can't wait till Charlotte gets back so I can tell her about my Shadow Mommy characters. Because I'm literally playing 2 self-described Shadow Mommies separately. Because the pitch I was given, like, do you want to be a Bahari priestess? And I'm like, do I?
Absolutely.
Because my Sabat Chronicle, we're having our finale tomorrow. And I'm going to be turning into a giant flesh dragon because I'm playing a Shamise in that. But then they're like, hey, you have a time slot open. Would you like to guest in this chronicle? We need a mommy from the Sabat. I'm like, I can do that.
So like Pix/Abby playing a Sabat mommy is like one of those have me at hello in the pitch moments. I'm like, okay. Like Grumpy Pix or Grumpy Abby is one of my favorite things I've ever seen, which was when you were playing the bug, or not the bug,
Beetlebug.
Beetlebug, yeah. When you're playing Beetlebug, I'm like, oh my, like it was just like the funniest, like one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I just channel my inner boomer. I'm like, I need to write a Yelp review on this place. How's the quickest way I can get out to write my Yelp review?
You're the professional, quite frankly.
Oh my god, no, I am just some idiot who was given a microphone that was mildly expensive, and now I don't never shut up ever. But I suppose I can do the reading, so...
Relatable.
The following recording show takes place in the world of darkness and explores narratives of personal horror. This story is a work of fiction, and is not official World of Darkness material. Many of the themes are portrayed from a place of empathy, but may be uncomfortable to some viewers. Episodes may contain coarse language, sexual content, mental and emotional abuse, violence, mental illness, and blood. Listener discretion is advised. Portions of the materials are the copyrights and trademarks of Paradox Interactive AB and are used with permission, all rights reserved. For more information, visit worldofdarkness.com. And thank you for listening. And thank you for popping in for now. I was about to read the ending portion. I stopped myself. Professional.
I didn't, but when I got to sexual content, I think it was last week, I was like, sexual content. I was like, why did my voice do that?
Sexual content. Yeah, you're going to see Pix's titties.
They're like shriveled bat boobs.
Oh my God, wait, that reminds me. I hate to get us off topic, but...
I hate to get it. No, go on. You're vamping for time so I can actually write down my story beats for this week. I have an idea. Go on.
So, in our one-shot for Misguided Magic on Rainbow and Razor Blades production, not so subtle plug.
No, be unsubtle.
My Hairless Tabaxi character flashed a life leech to unleash a horde of bugs upon it. And our amazing GM, Maria, by the way, check her out, Maria Oglesby Arts. She does pet memorials. She just amazing artist and gal. But she did art of our amazing character, this amazing scene. Here, let me actually go into the chat and find it. Here, and I quote, I just keep thinking about how Beetle flashed everyone to release a blight of fleas and mites in the flesh monster. It haunts me. And I cannot show the art on Twitch, obviously, because it is against...
no Bannerino, please. Yeah.
Yeah, no titties, but I will post it in player chat, and I think we should give the audience our reactions. This is watching through my character.
All right, I can't look at player chats on the thing, so I'll grab my phone here. That good, huh?
I mentioned 6 saggy tabaxi titties, and that is what came.
Okay, here we go. Spoiler text. Thank you for the... Oh
Content.
My God.
That's Beetlebug.
I like the censored... My God.
Beetlebugacy, because that would have been too much.
Fantastic. All right. Essentially, Cass once upon a time asked Pix to help him assault a PENTEX warehouse. We will be doing that assault this evening.
Yes! Oh my god!
Now, you're going to learn some stuff during the PENTEX assault that ties into what you're going to learn and or what's going to come out next week when the full coterie is back together. So I don't know how you want to manage the meta of it all. I have an idea of how tonight ends. That actually ties it together nicely. Because Mephisto is a liar and an unreliable narrator. I'm not to be trusted.
Yeah, but we love that about you.
Right. So we're going to be running the Shenanigans episode. There will be consequences, even though it exists out of time and anachronistically. If you die during it, you are not dead to the main continuity of the game. It just has an interesting repercussion in our world.
Interesting. And as we found out with the whole Athena scenario, time is a bit strange in Milwaukee.
Everything's strange in Milwaukee. But that brings us to introducing the cast of Milwaukee by Night, Endless Elegy. I'm going to start with Abby, who is off a week. How's it going?
It's good. I finally, thanks to the amazing works of Donathan, one of my best friends in the whole world, finally have internet again, despite Arizona's terrible storms and weather and providers. But hi, I'm Abby. You can find me at Enough of Abby on Twitter, but tonight I will be taking on the role of your local Nosferatu, Pixie. And hopefully tonight she's not going to get crushed into a pulp, considering what PENTEX likes to do in its free time.
Interesting. Well, I'm making no promises as the ST. Speaking of crushing things to a pulp, how's it going, Scott?
Pretty good so far. I'll be playing Ben Sahar, the resident Tremere, and I don't think Pixie will get crushed because now he can jump.
I can.
I see you're rocking the Seattle Seahawks cap this evening.
Yeah.
Nice. No comment.
I'm not hopeful for this next year.
It'll be fine. You'll be fine. Steve Carroll's, as much as I dislike the guy, is a decent coach. So speaking of being a great coach to picks, how's it going, Sam?
Yo, I'm doing all right. I'm Sam. I'll be playing Cass, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. Finally, the Cass side quest. Like, this should be sweet.
There should be a couple opportunities to learn some of the sort of B plot and C plot information of what's going on in Milwaukee this evening. We never seem to have enough time to indulge things like this. We kind of keep the pace moving. Tonight is that opportunity to do so. Like I said, maybe it happens, 10 months down the line y'all do this. Maybe it happened a week ago and the camera wasn't on it. We don't know. It's just assumed that the coterie did it at some point throughout these nights in Milwaukee, and whatever information you gain from it, it's part of your character's understanding. Barring one exceptional thing that may or may not come up. I don't know. When it happens, I'll let you know. Or if it happens. So, I like to jump right into the action with something like this.
Are you going to introduce yourself?
Oh, me. I thought I already kind of did. I'm Mephisto. I'm the storyteller. If you want, you can call me Andrew, I suppose. Or if you, if you want to put maximum respect on my name, you say the full thing, the magical Mr. Mephisto, because it sounds like a magical bunny rabbit.
That's what I always do at the end of my streams. I make sure put the Mr. in front of it because you got to know how wild these games get.
Well, no, Mr. was my father. He was Mr.
Oh, Mr.
Magical Mr.
I'm
Mephisto.
magical Mr.
And they're like, wait, well, does that mean like Magical Bunny Rabbit is your last name? And I'm like, no, my last name's Maury, who doxes themselves and tells their full name. But yeah, so if you see me floating around, it's like Mephisto Maury. I'm technically going off of one of my middle names because I have several, and my last name. My first name is the.
It's like bring it up because I knew Charlotte would be disappointed if we didn't ask.
Thank you. No, Charlotte here in spirit. But yeah, Charlotte's on vacation with the family. Ty's at Gen Con. So actually, if you're at Gen Con right now, you might be able to run into Salvatore, which would be pretty sweet. I think he's helping out with the Anvil 8 Games booth this year. He tends to help out with them. He's got contacts with them and stuff. So stop him by Anvil 8 Games. Hey, plug I didn't anticipate tonight, but there you go. I have, as I said, I'm Mephisto. You can find me on Twitter at MR_MEPH. Please, 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 please follow us on Spotify. Milwaukee by Night, or look up Midnight Creations. We should show up either way, but look up Milwaukee by Night. I think we're the only result that really comes up with that. Start listening there, or at least just drop in, leave a 5-star review, and just like peace out, because if you're listening to this right now, you're way further on in the plot. That being said, it has been a real joy to sort of jump back and listen to those early episodes and stuff. And with the polish that Charlotte puts on them, it's almost like a different show, which has been pretty sweet.
Charlotte is nothing short of an artist.
She's rad.
She's offensively talented.
Charlotte, if you're listening, we love you.
We miss you. Come back and save Mephisto. I'm the ideas like half of the this exchange. Just have the ideas and the good hair, I suppose. All right, so I like to jump right into the action. It is some evening. Maybe it's mid-spring. Maybe it's mid-autumn. The trees in the sort of immediate shot of the evening as the moon sort of perfectly sort of crests into the mid sky before being covered up with clouds and swallowed up promptly. Allows us to catch glimpses of these trees looking like hands, no relation to Salvatore, of course, reaching out towards the sky itself. A little bare, maybe some light leaves on them, either the early bloom, sort of defiant ones against the cold, or those sort of resolute late ones clinging to the branches as the cold rolls in. We're not sure. Again, anachronistic. Could be spring, could be fall. Could be the lake effect, and these just happen to be a couple dead trees, and it's midsummer. Who knows? But we stand here somewhere on the northern sort of borders of Milwaukee. You would have had to go through a rather rich residential area and then wind down a series of sort of private roads to get to this portion. Which probably is why Ben Sahar has been tagged in. Ben Sahar actually, I believe, lives around that area, or at least has a haven or something to fall back to if the heat catches on. You currently, maybe you're parked. Maybe I'll leave as I set the scene, and we'll figure out where you are in it. But our vantage point is currently outside a green and white series of buildings right on the lakefront of Lake Michigan. He just walked like a people.
He walked like a people.
He just walked like a people. What?
Someone clip that. He walked like a people.
Did you see that? He hopped up and he just like walked forward. And hello, Top Lord. Hello. Yes. Are you here to say fuck Joanne? Yes. Fuck Joanne. Yeah.
Fuck Joanne.
Turfs suck, don't they? Yes. All right. Do you want to go outside? Oh my God. Okay. I'm being ganked by Dobby. He must go outside. You really right during the exposition, dude.
So yes, it needs to include me. I am the most important part
of
this.
So a stray dog streaks across the PENTEX facilities, barking loudly, and demanding to be allowed to use the restroom. So I guess talk amongst yourself. I got to take this idiot out. Excuse me.
Hey, let's do some vamping roleplay. Actually, what is Cass doing? Is he like overviewing the facilities? We're like sitting on the hill.
Probably. He probably has like those infrared binoculars that we picked up that one night, and he's probably like alternating between looking out and then looking at like the schematics and everything, and like if he ate food, he would have a gas station sandwich, but he doesn't have that.
One of us can't eat food because I do have eat food as a merit. I'll eat the gas station sandwich for you.
Nice.
Like Pix, like I imagine, like as like you're doing like the survey, looking over it, she's got like a tablet open and is like looking over what she could find on the company website, specifically this location. If there are like, for instance, job openings, just signs of like what's the security look like here? And also she's got one of those like little gas station pound cakes in her hand and is just between like swiping, just munching it. Maybe talking with an open mouth like, is she anyone out there?
Nothing so far, little bat.
You know, for like a bioscience place, according to this website, which is looking for new community solutions. I sound like a fucking community college. It's just weird. Like, maybe they've got more stuff on the inside, but I don't know. What do you think, Ben?
I mean, obviously, they probably don't keep the creepy shit out on the front lawn.
Fair. And I guess if you looked like Area 51, people would get a little suspicious.
Area 51. The rumors about this place is that it looks a lot worse than Area 51.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're talking like some Resident Evil shit.
Resident, like, are we talking like flesh creatures running around?
We're talking about all sorts of monstrosities. I heard a rumor once that they were like sticking shit in people and mutating them into monsters as shock troopers.
Holy fuck.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And you think they're doing it in this particular facility?
Yeah, they're doing something. They're taking people that they think no one will miss. And they're fucking wrong.
Yeah, do you want to know another rumor I heard?
Sure, Ben, lay it on me. And she looks at them with just a very quizzical eye. She takes another munch of her gas station snack.
So you know that spirit shit that Treebeard's always doing? Well, they take one of those nasty spirits and they put it in a kid's toy, and it's like Chucky or was it Annabelle, and it like torments people and causes kids to do bad shit.
You're fucking with me.
I mean,
Sam, he's fucking with me.
I wish.
Sam, not Cass. Fuck! Cass, he's fucking with me. Like, that's not real, right? Like, there's no haunted doll shit in there?
I mean, you just went to Spirit Realm and fought the Slender Man fucked by a tree or whatever, so, like, you tell me.
I mean, you're a goddamn vampire, too, so, like, saying that shit can't be real seems a little weird, doesn't it?
I know, but there's like I don't know, maybe this is, like, I don't know, Daisy or something, and it's like a virus that infects us and kills us or whatever. Like, there's a scientific explanation, right?
Sure.
I never understand you, Ben.
Yeah, me either.
The explanation is simple. Powers and profits corrupt. These motherfuckers think they can get away with anything. They can't.
They were just talking about me. She said she doesn't understand me, and you're saying power corrupts. maybe a little freedom corrupts. I don't know. We've recently had a bad breakup and divorce. Now I'm outstretching my legs, having my midlife crisis.
Yeah. I mean, like, in the Bible, all that stuff. Like, God gives people free will, and that, I mean... Oh...
Just an excuse so he can feel justified when he, burns people.
You are committing... No, Sal was the one who burned down Sundown's place. But, I mean, you weren't burning down places, right? Please tell me you weren't.
I'm not.
It's like a controlled burn. And by that I mean a lot of fire happening in specific points all at once so as to completely demolish this facility if need be. But first we gotta figure out exactly what they're doing.
Right. Figure out the scope before we go in with a destructive thing. And of course, we don't want to be framed as, like, eco-terrorists or whatnot, because that'll be a whole thing, and we'll be on Fox News. And I don't think that vampires are supposed to be on Fox News.
No, because if we're on Fox News, let's call it Antifa.
Hmm.
Wait,
You're not eco-terrorists.
yeah, that's so 90s.
Buddy, I wasn't born in the 90s. I got embraced a few months ago. You're gonna have to keep it to 2000s, at the least.
I'm just waiting for Cass to say, I've seen some shit.
I've seen some shit.
I mean, does he have to say that? Because
No. But it would be funny, though.
Pix wanted to roll some dice at some point in there.
I did. I think actually all of us, I believe everyone wanted to at least like get a view on this facility, what we can see outside, patrols, that kind of thing.
One thing of note is I keep mentioning the green and white buildings. It is not obviously flagged as PENTEX, which is an important detail that you kind of needed going into it. It's one of those things that like has a sign that just says like like caution, heavy machinery. Like it just kind of gives a bunch of like vague caution signs and danger warnings, without ever listing like what the place is or what it does. Now, this is one of those moments that exists in reality. We all have these places we go past that like they don't say what the hell they are. There's a place here in town called Hexion, which sounds like an evil corporation.
I know, it sounds like an evil wizard business.
Right? And it just says logistics. And if you go to their website, it just says Hexion logistics, and it's like got a career page, and it looks like a legit page. And I'm like, that's totally a vampire front. And you were talking about how like you were looking into their website and stuff like that, and like they have job postings. Sounds like a community college wrote it. Yeah, this exact facility, like it's unlisted. It maybe vaguely mentions PENTEX a ways around the fence, like where the sign would be there to where it would like legally be, flagged as a PENTEX building to the very narrowest letter of the law. But by any plain eye, any basic or logical methods of figuring out what the hell this building is, it's not even geotagged on Google.
Spooky.
When you pull up a Google Maps of it, you see the old aerial shots of what used to be here, which is largely essentially like a quarry. Would have been a lakefront quarry, so big sort of a shed of buildings and debris built up on the lakeside. Bunch of trees. The earth cracked open, going down into little like tunnels with little like sort of makeshift, sort of like 3/4 metal and plastic rooms around, and a couple silos. Maybe a couple pictures, because like if you do like if you pull up like the full Google image search, you'll see it at various points in construction. Nothing overtly alarming.
Yeah, just typical capitalism.
Right.
Hey, Sam, on those diagrams anywhere, do you see a security room, camera room, anything like that? I'm thinking we'll have to figure out how to get in, but I want to keep that in mind because it might give us points where we can, cause a little mayhem.
So, Cass gave you the schematics a while ago, one of my favorite words. Cass gave you the schematics a bit ago. You saw that it was a CCTV, so it's a closed circuit with internal, essentially like power supplies to boost its stuff. You know that there's a couple of access points on a couple of the major, you've got sort of like 2 major buildings, and then you've got like a shed, effectively, that's a utility shed. It's where it would pull the water in. It probably does some treatment type stuff before pumping out its storm into Lake Michigan. That's where one of the main hubs is. If you want to disrupt it, that's where you go. They're going to have some backups and stuff, but you understand that you can do some Nosferatu shit. And if you got to that shed, yeah, if you can do some Nazi shit, and sufficiently, it would be enough to not be super suspicious. It would, it'd kind of be like a windstorm and a bad internet connection for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
so
what?
Pix, like I imagine, is... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
And then what did y'all want to roll for? You said that you all wanted to roll for something?
I wanted... Oh, go ahead. I've been talking a bunch. Go right ahead.
Oh, we were just gonna like look for patrols and stuff. Like Cass has those infrared binoculars we got from that that werekin or whatever. So we're just looking for like outside security and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll give you this one. There's no like external security on the fence. This is
Nothing at all.
Not outside it anyway. Maybe inside the facility you can see like the occasional like door open and like a vehicle drive, like just a little like golf cart style vehicle drive from like one of the facilities to the next and stuff like that. But like externally, not a whole lot. This place isn't trying to be obvious.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be this kind of place that's a little unremarkable. You're not quite certain what's going on in there, but it's got enough danger signs to keep the average person, even, a slightly more rebellious individual on a dare, from truly going too far in here.
Imagine from the glow of Pix's iPad with the website for the company pulled up, in the glow the schematic actually snaps the paper.
I'm just gonna use the I'm just gonna borrow from reality here. The cover site is called Hexion. It's like the Hexion Labs or something.
Oh yeah. So Cass, you want to take this place down? What are we talking? Like general like board disruption? Because I can do that real easy. Pop in quick, snap a few wires, maybe throw in a bug, and I Pix just like you watch her fish around in her pocket, hear Batty squeak in annoyance before she produces like a USB.
And you see Cass's eyes gloss over slightly at any tech mumbo jumbo talk.
Hey, you might be putting a point in it later under Pixie's guidance. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fart there.
No, that tracks.
In character.
Well, we can't be seen. Yeah, I just like it so they can't call for backup, and they're blind. Dumb, deaf, and blind. Yeah. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Yeah, as it were.
Got it. So I'm thinking, and Pix is pointing out the schematics, I could head out there, obfuscated, and deal with their technology. They won't be able to reach out. Whole facility will shut down. If someone comes to check it out, you two can deal with it. And then we can take a look inside. Do whatever you want.
Real quick before you get any closer, how about we have the Malkavian check and make sure there's no invisible stuff? Remember, Milwaukee, we've seen shitloads of ghosts and stuff that we can't see.
Oh,
Right.
Oh yeah. I can do that.
Good point, Ben. I forget about the weird ghost shit. Just seems like we're walking into some lab.
And if things go hairy and there are any wolves around, you gotta grab one of those go-kart things. That's very important. Alright, note those.
Go-karts. Got it. I don't think wolves exist in cities, though. That's more coyotes.
I mean, the wolf people, werewolves.
Ah, gotcha. All right. I got my driver's license, so don't worry about that. Not forklift certified, though.
Can you push the gas?
Forklifts is a callback.
You're certified.
All right. You can roll a Sense the Unseen if you'd like.
5 successes.
You see a couple of these sort of dark-robed, sort of wispy, lilting, half in, half out forms sort of orbiting the outside of the fence. Well, actually, just on the inside of the fence, sorry. But they're like above, like little wraithly sentries.
We got some ghosty helicopters on the perimeter, Ben.
Just
Ghosty helicopters?
Just two of them.
2 of them, and Cass will do his best to describe them.
That sound like anything you're familiar with, Ben? You're better with this stuff than I am.
Roll an occult if you wish. Everyone can see the YouTube video I was watching. Oops.
Meph exposed.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of, like, lefty shit. There we go.
6.
No, they're the like elemental bane spirits that are like lookout guard type things. They're not happy, by the way. They don't like being bound like this. This would be like where if someone could find fetters, it'd be pretty useful.
PENTEX can't even leave the spirits alone, huh?
Well, I mean, they're spirits of everything. For all we know, those are spirits of the cement wall.
Oh, jeez. I don't
See,
think
werewolves talk to pencils.
You're judging from their orbit and your dice on Sense the Unseen. It's something built into the fence that they're bound to or that they're anchored to.
I don't know. Is there like some Quicksilver, some anti-ghost shit raid?
You throw some salt at them and say, pocket sand.
Right, because, like I said, I don't think the shadow abilities are going to work here.
If they're bound to the fence and they are sentries, provided you're careful regarding disrupting the thing and extra careful, like staying literally out of sort of like an extended line of sight, you can get around them.
Oh.
It's just very hard. Well, a lot harder. They're not omniscient. They're fucking ghosts.
True. So, what's our plan of attack here? We want to go over the fence, or do we want to hit the front entrance, or...
And we all have obvious.
True, we could just walk in through the front door. So, provided that we're careful. And, actually, why don't y'all let me go ahead? I don't work great with technology. Meta, I have Ghost in the Machine.
So,
But...
as you sort of mentioned going through the front door, you look over, and there is like one of those classic like guard podiums where they lift and lower the gate type thing. You see a single guard on duty, a portly gentleman with sort of rust-colored hair and stubble. Says he's got a badge that says like Hexion Security Officer Chubb.
Tim himself. Alright, you two good with me going ahead? I can disable tech, and you guys can head in?
10-4, Pix.
Not sure what that means, but I'm assuming it means Godspeed.
Yeah, it
We're
means
just going to say everything except for yes, good, whatever. We're just going to say all the different catchphrases. 10-4, Godspeed.
Just speak only.
You guys got any more you guys
just
want?
speak only in one-liners.
We'll just degrade to, what's it called? Morse code at some point. But that being said, I am going to roll arouse and activate Unseen Passage.
Sounds good. You'll all be starting, for simplicity's sake, the evening at one hunger.
I critted on that, so no hunger for me.
Nice.
We're going to use more slogans like this, though. We need definitely at least 50% more finger guns.
Gotcha.
Got him.
We're locked and loaded, boys.
All right.
Yes, Pex is going to very carefully and admittedly painfully slowly start making her way to the front of the building.
Okay. Toward the guard. So to help clarify the scene a little bit more, there's sort of a single road that winds its way through these trees and would head back out into like sort of the city proper, right? It's like one sort of semi-truck road, right? It goes up in here, have a sort of carousel where it can turn about, load into various docks of these buildings, and leave back out. There's no rear exit to a facility like that, just more woods and lake. So, all right, you head to the front. You are obfuscated.
Yes.
Now, it's a classic just sort of like arm that goes up and down. You just kind of duck under it. They're relying
I
on...
just stuck under it.
Yeah, they're relying on you can see the video cameras. You have Ghost in the Machine. Yes, doesn't cost anything
Yes.
extra to activate when you use your Unseen Passage, as I recall. So you just wave at the camera like this. And provided you're mindful of the gates themselves and like physically contacting any of the perimeter fencing, including the arm of the checkpoint here, and you're mindful of the path that the helicopters were taking, as pointed out by Cass. You have sort of like a rough understanding. You're kind of Metal Gear Soliding it right now, knowing that Cass sort of advised you to sort of go around the rear of these two stacked semi things rather than around the front. And, you know, the standard obfuscate tactic might be to just take a direct path, but you take that slightly extra serpentine path and you make it to that utility shed without incident so far.
Yep. And I imagine as I, reach in my bag for all my fancy little lockpicking things, obfuscate will break, but I'm going to start working on that door. Presumably it is locked, I imagine.
So the door to get inside the shed itself is indeed locked. It has a simple keypad lock, just, like 4-digit, 6-digit code, something like that. No
Ooh.
enter key. You're looking at a classic star and pound and then just a number pad with a digital layout.
I might be able to hack it, possibly. Like, might be a factory reset code that I could use it to open.
Yep, and you check the model on it. It's the sort of thing where you check the model. If you got your little iPad with you or whatever script kiddie stuff you keep along, you'd probably these, it's kind of like a remote. These have these reset codes and so on and so forth, and it's sort of a little bit of a trial and error, and we would roll a intelligence or resolve and technology.
Will do. And just because I want to be careful about this, I'm going to rouse my blood.
And if you have a hacking specialty or something like that, or security system specialty, that would come in. You would.
I do.
You have that die to this pool.
Yes, and I'm going to get a bit hungrier, but I've also got that additional die, so that's going to be 3 additional die to that roll.
Wonderful.
Here goes. 4 successes.
This thing was a little bit more resistant than you thought it would be. But after a little bit of time, you crack it. You're like, that was deceptively advanced. It had like some sort of double bypass or some techno mumbo jumbo that Cass wouldn't understand anyway, but you'd make it sound impressive if you ever had to explain it to him.
Yeah, it's just me pushing 1991988766969 twice.
Yeah. See, I was gonna go with like 6875309, but that worked.
6, 5, 6. Yeah.
Janet, who do I turn to?
Oh goddamn! Just for flavor, Pix will like pop out an AirPod, put one in her right ear, and I'll be playing as she's like going in, getting ready to fuck with some tech.
Fantastic. Shenanigans episode activate.
It's full shenanigans.
Your obfuscate does not break on a successful hacking attempt.
Ooh.
So its discipline does have limitations. The illusion fails if the observer cannot ignore the user, or if the user backs the observer into a corner. A vampire blocking a doorway cannot maintain obfuscate against someone walking through it, for instance. Likewise, violent action jeopardizes the facade, as does actions like raised voices, failed pickpocket attempts, and weapons raised to strike.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to count hacking in the same category as not having failed a pickpocket or a picklock.
Okay, that is such a cool cinematic scene. Just like you hear like Pix's like very soft little footsteps, see the buttons being pressed, door opens.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing where if there were a patrol, they would just happen to not look at the door as they come around, because obfuscate is equal parts like illusory and mental. Because people just like, don't look where you're standing. It's it's a very
do not perceive me.
Yeah, and you stand in LARP, you've got your arms crossed, so people know that you're hacking with your obfuscate on. Where LARPing stand up. I see you in the audience. So yeah, you cracked the code. It was like I said, it despite its sort of simple facade, the keypad actually posed a little bit of extra resistance, but you managed to crack it. Maybe had to go through some like obscure, like you have like maybe a couple like data disks with you or flash drives or something like that with a couple scripts on them or algorithms.
Yeah, they need like admin permission, so I just apply my fingertip to to the card reader for about 5 seconds and then keep clicking.
Yeah. So you figure it out, you crack it, and you get inside. Now, the first sort of red flag goes off, apart from the weirdly nondescript location and, the fact that it's PENTEX's front business, Hexion. Apart from all those other red flags, the first sort of visual red flag really keys up as you enter in here. There is way too much tech in this shed for what should just be like a simple, fiber optics line coming in, probably a 3-phase transformer feed buried coming in. You should see like a control panel in here for that, like some sort of high. There is a shit ton more electricity coming in here. There's a shit ton of extra sort of fiber feeds, and plus the closed circuit stuff and a couple server booths and even some heating, cooling, water and HVAC and stuff. This isn't all of it. You get the sense that HVAC is specifically for cooling these servers.
Holy fuck. And Pix will pull out her phone, which has the Sanrio character of Cinnabon on it. It's pink, it's cute.
Is this the replacement for Hello Kitty?
Oh no, this is one she put in before she had Hello Kitty.
Oh! Or went back to after Hello Kitty. We don't, anachronistically, we're not certain which. Yeah, go on.
We're not sure. Yeah, but she's gonna quickly call Cass.
Does Cass have a phone? I don't think Cass
He'd have a burner phone, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
I feel Pix would be all right, so pick up when it's this number, click this to answer, and remember, hold it like this so I can hear you.
Thanks, Grandpa. Yeah, it's it's like the old school Nokia brick burner, and it the only game it has on is Snake, and it's a little pixel Snake game. Yeah. Doesn't even have a OLED screen or anything like that. It's just a little calculator face on it.
Hey, Cass. So I'm in the security building. There's good news and there's bad news. What do you want to hear first?
Bad news.
All right, so bad news is this operation is looking a lot more complex. I won't bore you with the details, but they're powering something a lot more than just a security system, water, and ventilation. This looks like, I don't know, it looks like something out of the SCP Foundation. I know you don't know what that is, but just know that it's suspicious. But the good news is, I have access to the cameras. I'm going to start returning those off so we won't get suspicious. Because otherwise, if they notice things like water and gas are off, they're going to come and immediately know something's up. And they're going to stick their ghost helicopters on us. But just letting you know, the coast is going to be clear in about, and Pix is, I imagine one of her hands is reaching towards the control panels for the cameras. About 2 minutes.
Yeah, so pretty classically, you clamp in on them. You expose the wire. So I actually worked in surveillance. So you actually expose the wires, get in, tapped in on them, and you start messing with them. Basically, you just kind of give them a light distortion to where they go into maintenance mode inside. Now, you probably go for something more intermittent cameras going offline, and you might even put in a remote tap to where you can override certain ones when you need them. So first, just a couple depending on how their circuit's fed, maybe a couple, one of their perimeter cameras goes out and flickers, and then the guy in the surveillance booth staring at 400 cameras goes, oh, well, we got a backup camera on that spot anyway, so gives the middle finger, we'll let IT deal with it in the morning, type thing. But you're in. So you probably got some sort of remote access.
Hacker voice, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hacker lass. Instead of hacker man.
Yeah. Pix will sign off with, all right, you're in. And cut off the phone.
All right. So you two have a similar path in you need to take, but now with the assistance of Pix sort of maintaining the feeds, and you sort of take the similar path to kind of avoid the wraith copters or whatever they are, and sort of rally at the just outside the shed. You're both obfuscated, though neither of you have machine ghost or ghost in the machine, I believe. So.
Nope, I just have Silent to Death. That's the only other one I have.
Oh, then do you have Unseen Passage as well?
Yeah, I have both.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, same.
Okay, yeah. All right. So you rally with Pix. Pix, while you're in the tech room waiting for them to catch up, I'm going to have you roll a wits, either a wits awareness, if you. Let's start with a wits and awareness.
Oh boy, that's concerning. All right, let's do wits
I'm in
awareness.
danger.
Chuckles. Oh no, I do not want wits manipulation. We're not gaslighting tonight, boys.
Yet.
Wits awareness. Go. That's 4.
Okay. So basically, the whole time you've been sitting in here, you haven't really taken your eyes off these extra feeds. You've noticed that one of them is actually. So you've got like some storm networks and stuff like that. Like you can see like they have their own internal hydrant network and stuff like that. You also notice a pump. It's taking in water from Lake Michigan. Heavy duty, big time deal.
Damn, what are they doing with that?
That's the bonus. You kind of like take time to sort of confirm your suspicion, and then the rest of the coterie is there.
Is there a little security chair in there? Because if so, Pix just like is kind of just going all over cameras, spinning around that chair before they hop in. She's just
no. This wouldn't be the actual surveillance room. This is just where the utilities essentially come in. That would have some security in terms of like a building that helps patch them in and network them out to the other displays or other places. Their actual surveillance booth is probably someplace internal. Probably like there probably is a side or back entrance with like some secret employee parking. Hell, a place like this, they might even have an underground garage with like some other access street that's like kind of well on the other side of the forest, and some underground tunnel that feeds in where their surveillance their surveillance and security would actually get in. So if they're that like, if they're going that full like sort of evil capitalist James Bondian enterprise, right?
yeah. As they walk in, Pix would point out the security cameras. All right, anywhere you want to strike in particular?
So you have sort of two main warehouses. I say warehouses just as a rough descriptor. They're large buildings. You have a number of sort of satellite buildings. You have one that currently has a semi parked in it, sort of backed up. The rear hatch open, internal, that sort of thing. And then you have a number of sort of loading docks and piers, sort of flanking the Lake Michigan. There is one boat currently in dock. Just a little barge-looking thing, really. And then there's like a couple just smaller, like almost like trailer type buildings. Like a foreman on site would be there, or if someone were to interview here, you suspect they would end up in one of those little trailers before they'd ever see the inside of any of these buildings.
Do we know? Does Pix know where like the water's coming in?
You have a pretty good idea just from like having spent the time sort of investigating the way the pipes run, plus being tapped into their CCTV, their internal network for a while, that it would go into one of the smaller sort of satellite buildings toward the lakeside. Well, no, sorry, no longer toward the lakeside. It would be like just sort of off one of the main warehouses. Sorry.
Yeah, right here, and Pixel like tap the screen with her claw. And also, they're taking in a lot of water from the lake. Real heavy duty stuff. You don't see that like unless you're at a food processing factory, like a pork facility.
Yeah, sometimes some mills or breweries, maybe. But
a lot better than last time I did some corporate espionage type shit. Last time I did this kind of stuff, I died.
Holy shit, Ben. Well, I mean, you're the expert here. I'm just here to handle all the wires and whatnot.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, I want to get them all, but I kind of want to know about that water, and I kind of want to make sure that semi might be a good access point, actually.
Semi will
What?
get you into one of the warehouses, like the sort of one main warehouse. There's two main warehouse buildings, so we get you into one of them pretty easily. And then you've got the sort of what we'll just call the watershed for now. It's a bigger building, but not as grand by any stretch as these two warehouses.
All right, want to check out that warehouse then? I'll set up the cameras to make sure they go off intermittently. That way, y'all won't be caught, and we won't have to worry about being drawn back to this place.
That's the party.
All right. So you're heading to the semi.
Yes.
Indeed.
Wits awareness as you approach the semi, and auditory base. So if you have bonuses to your sight, you're not factoring them. If you have bonuses auditorially speaking, like say you have a bat in your pocket, you would factor this in.
Right, wits awareness.
3 successes.
Another 4 successes.
2. You don't hear much over the engine, the ambient noises, and the crash of the lake. It's weird. You've been on Lake Michigan a couple times. Hell, you were just at the Calatrava a couple months ago. Maybe it was a couple months ago. You don't remember Lake Michigan being this loud. And you can kind of hear like a little bit of the rattling of some underground churning and pipes going on as it pulls the water in. But yeah, that's all kind of what you would expect on being on some sort of industrial site. But Lake Michigan sounds particularly cacophonous here. Like almost like you're in like one of those band shells near the park. What it kind of does to the ambient noises around it kind of bounces them in and throws them right back out at you. It's kind of got a little bit of that vibe going on, except with just the lake. You don't see a band shell out on the lake though. That'd be weird. So you don't quite hear it. The 3 you hear like, is that whimpering? Maybe a mouse? Definitely a whimpering noise. With 4 picks, you definitely hear whimpering, muffled sobs, human voices. Seem to be
Picks a hold up a hand.
Seem to be coming from within this trailer.
Do you guys hear that? Sounds like someone's crying.
I heard something, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was an animal.
Maybe. Speaking of, hey, Betty, you want to check that out for me?
Eep. Batty flits out your pocket and takes out. Batty sort of lands on the top of the semi and sort of skitters towards the rear. Finds a nice little groove around where the padding is to stop the semi from smashing the wall and digging it up. That it can. Bats squish real small, and it just
They do.
Squishes. Batty squishes real small, and she kind of disappears into the padding of the semi for a minute. Comes back moments later. Kind of get with that clumsy sort of sway and sachet to how it flies, and lands kind of a little bit on your shirt, and then scurries inside pocket and pokes head out, and it eeps and squeaks at you. For whatever reason, you understand at this time, to Cass. I think you and Batty have some weird connection going on that you don't quite get. Well,
she's constantly foul mouthing me.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, Batty. Apparently, Batty's love language is swearing, and I don't know. Maybe she tapped into the cobweb one day and she hasn't, untapped from it, type thing. But you
My little bat brain can handle it.
But you catch glimpses and stuff like that of what she communicates to Pix, though not the complete picture. Pix, you have as your animus or whatever it's called. She speaks to you, and she's just like, "There's people in there, Pix. They're all tied up." Well,
All of them?
Well, not all of them are tied up. There's some walking around with guns. And
Shit.
and the tied up ones, they're not all people, I guess. Some of them, they're not warm, like me. You can't
Like me.
like me, she says.
Oh. Pix is gonna relay this. I think there's some folks like us in there and some hostages, armed guards. Be on the lookout.
Copy that.
How do you
Alright.
proceed with this new information?
Stealthily.
Yes. Actually, I think Pix would... I'm going to use my newfound potence abilities, and I'm going to soaring leap onto the roof.
Now, this isn't quiet,
Oh, yeah.
but you are small. Do
I
you
am.
have the Silence of Death?
I do not. So if
This
I were
is
to do
not
so quietly, I
quiet.
think I'd... Yeah.
I will, however, allow you to roll a stealth at a significantly increased difficulty to sort of like land gracefully. So like a dexterity stealth to see if you can pad. The leap isn't a problem. You do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you rouse
It's just
blood.
that the roof is metal.
Right, and it's thin and it's wobbly metal. It could make a great deal of sound.
Right. Oh, no. Please let me roll.
I'm just gonna go ahead and hit my Jason Carl juice for the first time this evening. Pardon me.
Hell yeah.
In a non-threatening manner.
In a non-threatening manner.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. That's a possible bestial failure.
It is a bestial failure. Pix puts a little too much chutzpah into this leap and happens to land, and her beast sort of takes out this freedom of feeling the winds sort of like hitting Pixie's body in a way that it hasn't before. This sort of I'm almost imagining Pix's beast now to be a little bit like an old school sort of like bat style vampire, and maybe feeling a little bit closer to your beast as the moon sort of peeks out just behind the clouds just a little bit one more time, and as you catch the spray from Lake Michigan, you sort of lose yourself. And whatever eye color you think Pix's eyes would glow or catch when they catch that moonlight, that sheen, that predator sheen overtakes them. Real quick, what color would that be for you? Do you think more of a cat?
Ooh.
I think you mentioned more of a cat-like before, but
Oh, yeah, definitely cat-like.
it's been a minute, so so I'll let you describe how you surge with bestial sort of.
Yeah, her little, like, jacket, like, almost spreading out like wings in that kind of way. If you didn't know better, it would be the Mothman, but that glint of blue.
Superior taste encrypted, I see.
Of course. Yeah, but let's hear the landing.
The landing just happens to be about 10.5 feet lower down than you anticipated, as Pix's beast comes surging out as you soar through the sky, and you tear a hole in the ceiling and land fine, albeit inside the semi, with a much louder presence than you'd anticipated. You immediately hear guns cock sort of in that sort of small warehouse, or well, no, this is a large warehouse. This is one of two. This is aptly named Warehouse 2. As you land in Warehouse 2, you hear the guns immediately cock. You hear someone shout, "Go check that out!" And like, it is moments before something bad happens. You manage to pixel snake, best snake. Oh yeah. Now that's some shenanigans, says Kicker. Thank you, Kicker. Indeed. And you see a sight that Batty had described as your sort of hackles are raising as you're aware of imminent violence. You see a number of humanish individuals tied up, frantic. A few of them more reserved, like they know what's going on. They don't seem to be breathing the usual way. They're not frantic. Maybe they're not even breathing at all. I don't know. It's hard to check right now with whatever's about to come around that corner over there. The semi-truck bay door is open into the interior of the warehouse, and you can catch out the little sort of like long-running tube fluorescence, just a little of that sort of dim halo haze, and like that makes its way through the wood pulp that's kind of always in the air in a warehouse like this, right? I'm going to give initiative to the coterie.
Uh-oh.
Okay. How far away am I?
You're on the exterior of the semi. Pix is just punched through the top. There is no, unless you can like roll a semi truck or drive one, there isn't really a lip for you to get into that same bay from where you're at. There are other bays, but they're all currently closed.
Right.
And
Well. Oh, go ahead.
those bays might be easier to move than a semi. By the way.
I've got ideas.
And I had contemplated, Dante, like when you quipped about like the last time you went corporate espionage, I had, like in my head I'm like, have Dante say, yeah, but last time you didn't have me, and then have Dante join you for this scene. But then I chose against it because I didn't want to take away from the coterie shenanigans. Well, yes, it would have been nice to have a combat monkey help you out. Let's see what the consequences of all this by yourself is for maximum shenanigans.
So I will say though, when I hear her crash through the metal,
And you can decide amongst yourselves who's going to go first and so on and so forth.
get my sword.
It's a wise choice.
Be like, yeah,
Well, I know from working in a warehouse.
Finally!
idiots with guns don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
I know from having worked in a warehouse for a long time, as part of your safety regulations, you are supposed to chalk the tires of any parked trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So, Castle will remove those blocks. So the trailer can roll.
The semi is still attached to this trailer.
Oh, it is!
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, goody.
Oh. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Steal it?
Temporarily, yes. We will appropriate it. Never. Okay, so Cass will do that and then get into the driver's seat and like look around for the keys.
In classic fashion. Tip the visor and they just slide out. The semi truck driver probably has no idea what they're transporting. They probably went to like whatever one of these trailers is like the foodie lounge whilst they unload the cargo that's recently woke up from whatever state they would have been incapacitated in and stuff, so that they don't hear this and they get plausible deniability and so on and so forth. But who would steal a semi-truck when it's in the middle of a heavily surveilled dock? You know, the last time he left him in the can, took him 3 hours to find him, so yeah, of course he leaves him in the visor. Wouldn't you? You're going to roll a drive check. And then as you're queuing that up, Pix and Ben, you get your weapon pretty freely, unless your ritual says it's as an action to conjure it forth. You get your sword pretty freely, like Highlander style. You know, like if you've ever seen Highlander, like they just always wear trench coats, and that's like enough like kayfabe that no one can tell they're carrying huge claymores all the time. Same thing just happens with Ben Sahar, just like shink. Like this, was it a gladius you want to describe?
Pix is going to activate unseen passage.
Beautiful. You have just enough time to do that.
Is drive in this case just my dexterity? Straight dex?
Well, I was actually going to go with strength, because semis are actually a bastard to pilot.
Oh, okay, yeah, alright.
Like you have like, if you have like a 16 gear like monstrosity, you've got torque and stuff you're dealing with. Those, they're, yeah, just my grandpa was a trucker, so.
Alright, I'll rouse. How many dice is that again?
It'll your blood, depending on your blood potency, you might get an additional one.
It's still only a 2.
Yours is only a 2. All right.
Okay, don't gain a hunger, so yes. Whoa, that's 2 successes.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough to start a semi and pull it forward at least. Pix is obfuscating. You can take some movement as this semi is like pulling away from the dock. You want to leap? You could potentially leap down or into the warehouse.
Oh, I'm gonna leap into the warehouse.
Excellent. And Ben Sahar, you've so far retrieved your sword. You still have a little bit of movement, perhaps in action, as this semi truck begins to clear.
I was just going to resume being obfuscated in Silence of Death and go inside and try to follow Pixie.
You kind of like hop, just like up onto the ledge as these two individuals with some sort of like submachine guns kind of come around the corner. They're like, the hell? And then the other one like, third time this month that someone didn't block the wheels. They think just because they're in the can, they don't have to follow safety protocols.
They didn't make those training videos, man.
The other one's like, you idiot, there's someone in the driver's seat. And then they will go.
Ruh-roh.
So the one goes to lock and load, shouts halt, and basically gets a little trigger happy. The other one says, cargo! And like, they both hop down and get on either, and then come over on either side. Hands out the window, sir. Put it in park. Pix and Ben Sahar, from your vantage point inside, another two guards are up in this sort of lofted scaffold, sort of like a grated steel area, and they're beginning to sort of like patrol around. They notice something's amiss. They haven't quite entered the situation yet, but they're primed to.
We should probably get rid of those problems before they become a problem for Cass.
Cass, you have a problem.
Buckle up, compadres. Are they actually like on the outside?
Yeah, they've made it to the driver's side, respectively, and the passenger side, and they've got these SMGs like trained upward, like SOCOMs or something like that. I don't know, whatever standard pseudo private military get to carry legally. The one step above being, illegal.
Oh, okay.
Like, are totally illegal, but it's a private security firm, so they kind of are basically a private military, and they get away with like a bunch of bullshit.
Yes. Okay. So Castle, like, all right, I think I got in the wrong trailer there, officer, and then he'll let me just look for that, and he'll just like pull out his. He doesn't have it. Or is this before?
Roll a d10 to see if this is before.
That's a 10.
Yeah, this may be before or after when you've gotten it back.
Okay, so he'll pull out his trusty Colt 45 and just unload in this guy's face. Just.
Okay. I'm going to consider that the next initiative round, or the next round of initiative. So yeah, you're going to unload in this guy's face as you two are heading towards the scaffolding. Go ahead and roll a attack.
So this is firearms plus resolve, composure.
I always forget. I believe it's composure. I always flip them. It's
okay, it's dexterity if you're just free balling and just firing. It's resolve if you're aiming.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is 3 successes.
I suppose it'll roll a dodge at disadvantage.
Or have rapid reflexes?
They don't.
They're humans.
That's if they had rapid reflexes, we might have rolled initiative. Yeah, you land a grazing shot, so you're gonna do 2 plus your modifier damage.
That would be 5 total.
It's a pretty good shot, but it doesn't quite take the Yumi out.
Damn it.
Bullets don't do ag through body armor, right?
Oh.
One more would probably do it, but oh wait, no, you said the face, like specifically. Oh yeah, you blast, you like boom.
Yeah.
Like just like full on RoboCop, just pow, and the guy's head just sort of misses and he falls backward with like way too big of a hole in it. That's way too close range. Even with like a little, Kevlar helmet, and you just pow. He goes down. Pix, you've got sort of like one side of the warehouse, one of these folks coming down the stairs. You can get to them first and put the hurt on them if you wish.
Yeah, how close is he to the railing?
Close enough for what you're thinking.
I would like to trip him.
Okay, so that was so mischievous, that laugh. So you are attacking someone who doesn't know you're there. Their defense is effectively 1 right now, so you're just kind of free rolling against a 1.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be like your dexterity athletic or dexterity brawl. I would hear a case for dexterity athletics.
Oh yeah, dexterity athletics, because it's gonna be like a running going up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tackle or like yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Running my I'm breaking this guy's ankles. If we were playing basketball, I would be a Space Jam right now.
Can you believe it? All right.
All right. Boop, boop. Dexterity. No modifier. 2 successes.
That's enough to flip them over the railing. They land on the ground when knocked out. Why don't you roll a luck check to see if they maintain grip of their gun?
Will do. I'm actually going to use one of my pretty die for my lovely friend Kristen.
Aw, yeah.
That's a 2. That is not good.
Oh, no, they maintain their gun. They hold on to their gun. That's it.
God
On
damn
a
it.
1, it would have went off, but, not a 10. But no, the main thing is they just maintain hold of their gun. But they have when knocked out of them, they're sort of going to be gathering themselves on their next turn. Ben, it is your turn.
I'm going to do a downward chop right for here, between the neck and shoulder.
Same thing, you're at a defense 1.
So it'll be 10 plus the 3 for the sword.
Your blade stops when it hits their sternum. They ain't moving no more.
I love how Pix is just like, mischief, and Sahar is just like, perish.
I ain't got time for this. So they go. The one gathers himself and sees now a like fully, visible Ben Sahar on the other side of the room, having like it's one of those like sort of like horror anime or the like scene with Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One where like you see the body and then the body falls over and you're standing there like with the swing, and the sword and a little like anime spurt of blood style as we switch into like anime cinematics.
Hell yeah.
We've got Pix up on the railing snickering like this like Sphinxian bat cat that she is, and just looking vicious and because on account of Nosferatu deformity, and we have the other one just unload into the cab of the vehicle. So you have some cover on account of being inside the cab with doors and stuff, but this person is just going to like kind of empty the clip into that.
Okay. I also have that first celerity discipline too, so I don't know if that helps me here.
Is that reflexes?
Rapid reflexes just lets him keep his dodge bonus versus guns. He needs fleetness and to get the additional levels of clarity.
Sorry, I'm so used to Dante just dodging bullets like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. Dante had like a 4 or 5 celerity. So.
Yes.
So it's just Dex?
So you have Dex and Athletics if you're just dodging.
Yeah.
Dex and Athletics. Oh, sweet.
I love having people who know the rules at the table. It's great.
Only 2 successes.
All right, so this person's actually at the -2 penalty on account of your cover, though. So you may... I'm saying there's still a chance. They just, like... This semi is just made of the stern stuff. Must be an old Peterbilt or something like that, with, like, still a steel frame and not that fiber crap. And just... Like, it just... and the bullets just go into like all manner of the like the steel cab and stuff like that, and just don't have exit holes. They rattle around in like some of the upholstery and interior, but they just don't make it through that like second layer of steel on the inside. Somewhere inside, no, my Peterbilt! A guy shouts because he just like feels he's spiritually connected to his.
He's got the blood bond with his truck.
As he should.
The oil bond.
Yeah. We blood, sweat, and oil together.
Bounded by
Through everything.
Lead ridden.
My first son was born in the back.
And conceived.
God, we are going full shenanigans tonight, and I love it.
Top of the line, Cass.
So he's just firing it. Cass would
He's like currently, since combat's like, popping off in instant. He's currently like popping the banana clip out and going for another one type thing.
Cass would kick out the passenger side door and just like.
Yeah. Okay.
On his back, just like shoot down.
All right. You can take the 1 dice penalty. I forgot to give it to you before to call shot this dude's noodle.
Okay, 1 die penalty.
Yep.
Okay, I can handle that. Is 4, 6? No, 5. I got 2 10s. I got 5 successes.
All right. So the last one's head was like still there. This one's not.
Tight.
This is like anime. Someone said Resident Evil shit earlier before. Like, if you in Resident Evil, especially the pixelated RE2, and you aim the shotgun slightly up when the zombies are walking toward you, that happens. Except this is a 45 caliber pistol. You're fairly certain if there are other guards and picks you are, they know you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Is there anywhere else I can jump or run off to?
Oh, so you've got you've got the that like graded sort of scaffolding loft up above the sort of second floor. It all converges in the middle on the at various points at these little sort of mid booths or sort of like panopticons, like sort of little mid viewing booths at various point, which would be guard posts. You could leap to one of those, but you could actually make it to the rafters in the actual like structure itself up above you, because it would be kind of an open air style warehouse.
Oh yeah, Pix is going to be jumping from that. Now she's doing that. She's actually going to like pull Batty out of her pocket, say, wait, question before I do that. Are there lights in this warehouse?
Yeah, it's the classic row fluorescent lights in little like chunks of like little steel domes that are like long, narrow rectangles, those style.
All right, Batty, like I taught you, like we've agreed on, I need you to find the switch for those, and I need you to press it as hard as you can. We need these lights off. Chew through the wires if need be.
Batty brings a little like bat wing up to the forehead.
No toes.
And it's suddenly like really intense looking, like the ears down and slant, and just gives a little clumsy lift off, and then starts flitting and bobbing side to side, and then that sort of like clumsy grace that bats have, and then kind of disappears into the rafters, perfectly camouflaged for this sort of mission.
Yeah, and I am going to head for those rafters as quickly as I can, whether that is leaping, jumping, or bounding.
All right, cool. As you're departing, you notice the one going for the radio on their shoulder, but Ben Sahar has blink.
I was basically waiting for breaking the conversation, because I was like, while he's shooting, I'm going down to go kill the person that Pix kicked off the rafters. And when kill, I mean destroy. Their very existence.
You're going to stab them so hard they're erased from the timeline. Would you?
So 9 + 3?
Yeah, so this one, they will actually get a defense, this time, so they might mitigate that some. They do not mitigate that some. You just, they're like 1 minute going for their radio, and the next minute it's like the hand, we see the hand just gripping the radio, and they're severed at the forearm and then split down the forehead, and they're not moving anymore either.
Can't push a button if they don't have a hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, good.
Or a head.
Right. So combat has sort of suspended right now. All the immediate threats are eliminated. But that was not quiet. That Colt 45 has a kick to it. And even though the Lake Michigan is weirdly loud over here, it's not enough to drown out that sound. Immediate vicinity.
Well, I imagine those submachine guns aren't silenced either.
No.
Speaking of which, Cass is going to go collect those and clips.
You get 5 clips between the two, and 2 SMGs.
He'll offer either one of the SMGs to Pix.
Pix is nowhere to be
And
seen
then-
at this exact moment.
I'm in the warehouse having a maniac moment.
Or Ben.
I always wanted one of these.
Cool.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you did.
So, Pix, you have an awareness of their sort of security protocols and stuff like that. You happen to tap in. You feel like you could disrupt their communication about now to where they can't use their own radios.
Oh yeah. I imagine like I actually grabbed the radio off the guy that Ben Sahar killed, or the guy that I pushed off maybe got caught on the railing. And it's so simple with radio signals. All you gotta do is just, use the admin thing. It's like the Konami code, press the buttons a few times, min admin. And I'm actually going to switch it to a station that is just blaring the loudest rock music that I can.
So anyway, welcome back to This is Laszlo. And
Yeah, like just switching through, like, I'm telling you, man, aliens.
and he's like, I saw lights in the sky last night. I'm like, Laszlo, it was an airplane. No, they weren't moving like an airplane moves. And they like, you hear the banter of like, and now the soundtrack of the entire thing is Nick and Nora arguing, or not Nick and Nora, sorry, Laszlo and Nora arguing about like stuff. Now she tends to take the skeptic point of view, and he's way out there on his conspiracy theories, but every now and then he lands on something that is completely factually World of Darkness correct. And that's like the humor of it, with low key, like sort of like techno synth or industrial synth beats that they play as their backing track as the rest of the night. I just want everyone to imagine that in the background as
Perfect. And Pix has her little earbud in, and I imagine Michael Cimbello's Maniac is playing as she's doing all of this. She is just going off.
Not what I assume. I assume that there is actually a song called Morbid Time, and
It's morbid.
it's like sounds like Mortal Kombat, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you're gonna have some keys too, right? You grab the guard's keys.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll scoop my nasty little claws.
Cool. All right. You have the humans in the back of that semi still, or people, and Pix is brachiating through the rafters, and the lights sort of go out almost on cue as baddies nod through some cables or maybe found the panel or whatever.
Cass will go about untying them, and then he'll give somebody the keys. Anybody drive one of these rigs, and if anybody can, he'll give them the keys and tell them to like go full speed towards like, I don't know, the front gate, whatever it looks like the semi can plow through.
A larger gentleman, looks like he was maybe in the Marine Corps in his youth. He's got like a bigger frame, sort of like black and gray goatee, shaved head, sort of robust African American gentleman recognizes you. You know him to be Ray from the VA. He's like, Cass?
Cass is not good at lying. Yeah, but yeah, right here.
You hand him the other SMG?
Yeah. Actually, he would. He'd be like, yeah, in case you encounter any resistance.
He's like,
Just-
I knew you served too, but I didn't know you were still serving.
Yeah, it's kind of my own thing. My own black ops kind of deal.
Rescuing old men like me, I guess, from God knows what, he says. I used to drive truck. I'll get these civvies to safety.
Thanks.
Ray's not the only one you recognize from the VA in the back of the trailer.
Oh. How many more are there?
About like 25% of them seem to be from that VA. The others seem to be in, other sort of, like homeless or that there's always a population of any given city that if they go missing, people don't pay as much attention to. Tends to be sex workers, homeless, veterans.
Yeah, and there might be some human trafficking thing going on too. Like, yeah. All right.
I mean, you had your suspicions kind of early on that PENTEX was behind a lot of people disappearing, but this is confirming it. You wonder if your friend...
Yeah, she left for,
Chicago. You wonder if she
Yep.
ever made it now, and you can't help but think about her.
I don't see her among the people in this trailer.
No.
Okay.
You don't see Rio amongst them. But Ray, true to form, he gets in the cab, shouts back, all right, everyone to hold on to something. We're crashing through, he shouts.
And Cass will, he'll shut the back door. He'll, pop up and just close it.
All right.
I don't know how it is, if it's a close.
You see Officer Chubb like, oh, what the heck is all this ruckus on over here now? And he gets out of his booth and he comes strutting around to the interior of the fence, and he's at the the little barriers, this semi sort of careens around and aims at it. He's like, oh, now there, you gotta sign the clipboard here if you're going way too fast to sign the clipboard there. Ah! And he dives out the way and the truck just smashes through the gate.
That came at the climax because I'm listening to Maniac in the background. That came at the climax. It was so
Awesome. Cass, you'll note those ghosts are missing.
Okay. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know if that means that they're out and about or if they're free.
You hear, well, you don't, but our audience hears Chubb picking himself up. Yeah, security officer Chubb, and he kind of adjusts his security belt that's just got the flashlight and the hickory stick on it. He's actually packing heat this time, though. He's got a Glock 20. He's like, yeah, good old security officer Chubb, still got it, still sprite as a cat. He says, he glances over at you. Maybe Ben Sahar's in standing up on the little stoop to the entrance of the thing. He's like, yep, I quit this one too, he says. And he just takes his badge off and he throws it down and he turns around. Told everyone the next security officer Chubb cameo would be great.
I love it.
He's not such a bad guy after all.
Well, he learned his lesson the first time. He's had character progression now. Look at that character. Next step for security officer Chubb, he gets his awakening and becomes a hunter.
Yeah, if we ever do a V5 one shot, someone has to play Chubbs.
Chubbs, yeah.
You see, I was
Hunter
looking at this place here,
Oh,
and there are some real doozies.
I'll definitely play him. Like I will play
Yes.
Security Officer Chubb and be like, well, I would use Mister Trusty 9mm here, but I always preferred the old hickory. And you like, like abuse it with edge or whatever. Now you're gonna have to say your prayers there, Buckaroo. I don't want you haunting this house here no more. You hear? I don't want to hurt you. I don't. But I'm gonna hit you upside the head 2-3 times once.
I guess we're going to do that. What else we destroy?
If you don't keep removing, keep her. All right.
Yeah.
Infectious.
I mean, I can fuck with their security if you want before we leave. Maybe even their water lines if we want to get crazy.
I mean, we did murder some people.
We did, and we freed some human trafficking victims. I mean,
We're already kind of crazy, don't you think?
Yeah, but look, I love messing around with Pen. Just let me do this, please. Please.
I mean, yeah, go for it. I
You're the
mean,
best.
are they really people if they work for PENTEX?
It's a dangerous line of thought.
I mean,
Oh.
yes, technically, I mean, yes. I mean, unless you're just like, everybody that works at Amazon is a monster because of Amazon? Is that really what you want to say?
Yeah, like I said, there's a dangerous line of thought.
Indeed.
A lot of these folks are probably just being crushed under the ceaseless boot of late-stage capitalism and taking jobs to make ends meet. Of course, then some
That
of
doesn't
them...
seem like a monster. And he worked for PENTEX.
Hey, Chubb was not a monster, and he worked for
Chubb
PENTEX.
was an amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Chubb wasn't wielding a submachine gun, and he probably didn't know that there were civilians being, like, there was human trafficking going on here, so...
I mean, the fact that he wanted the semi speeding at the gate to sign the clipboard was... the headcanon... I had a 3-part character progression of Officer Chubb, so the final cameo will complete Chubb's character progression when we see Chubb show back up.
Oh god. But yeah,
That's
Pixie's gonna run back to the security hut and just, again, like maniac still blaring in her ear. She's just going, you just watch her just fuck with everything, just running her claws over some control panels. Like a, what's it called? A record. She spins them like a record. She's just having fun with it.
Okay. Whilst you're doing that, go ahead and to make sure you proper fuck it, like real good, like just fuck it up really awesomely. You go ahead and roll a technology, and you're of choice really. And the damage, you can just go ahead and roll an attack roll just for. This is supplemental. This is on
Just
top
for
of
funsies.
This is on top of it. So go ahead and roll those. While you're doing that, Ben Sahar, that barge stands out to you. You see something interesting over there, or maybe you hear a whisper. Familiar voice, or maybe unfamiliar voice. Who knows when this happened? Your beast. Is it your beast? Or is there something else accompanying your beast when it mentions... We feel... Sorry, your beast. We, have a kindred on that ship. Not, kindred. Like spirited individuals. A voice comes in and corrects your beast.
I'm gonna go look.
Cass, your attention is divided between Pix, heading, doing her handiwork, and Ben Sahar sort of disappearing around a corner heading towards must be that the actual piers area.
I imagine Pix, because I rolled a 5 total because I willpowered. She has produced a can of Mountain Dew, cracks it theatrically, is just spilling it all over.
You're going after Mountain Dew again.
Hey, it wasn't Baja Blast this time.
Yeah, spilling. You know what? That's fine. You spill the Mountain Dew all over the keyboard, and and Mephisto distantly. You just hear some nerd running like an RPG in their third room. Just goes, "Have Mountain Dew on the fucking keyboard. That's why you don't bring Mountain Dew anywhere near electronics." And just completely. And then we see some traditional gamer or some a Twitch streamer just flipping out over Mountain Dew on keyboards, and then we cut back to the action. They look weirdly like me. Not quite as attractive though.
Yeah, not nearly as chiseled.
Chiseled.
I guess Cass would check in on Pix.
Oh, yeah, she's having fun. She's having her hot girl night there. I think you come in mid Mountain Dew, things are smoking, sparking. She looks back. Hey, Cass. I don't think they're going to get anything out of this. Also, their gas lines are probably not going to be working for a week. At minimum.
Does Cass dramatically show why you laughed at the name Boomer?
Yeah.
Sure, he'll open up his hoodie and he's strapped with C4. Gas lines, you say?
Yeah, right. Back south, if you... Cass, this is domestic terrorism.
Or is it fighting for freedom?
You know what? Good point. How many of those things you got?
An uncomfortable amount. No, this isn't the full cachet, but Cass doesn't travel light when he's on a mission like this. I mean, he's got the Semtex pastes, and he's got a couple blocks of plastique that he can rig up. None of it's currently wired or anything like that. It's not, you've just got the fixins to rig up a couple of devices.
As a treat.
Enough to get the job done.
As you say that, Pix, you're kind of you're inside the building, you're looking at Cass, and you look behind him, and you can kind of see at a diagonal, you can see the two corpses that he left in varying degrees of heads begin to twitch. Arms jerking weird at first. You hear bones pop as their bodies twist and contort at weird angles, and almost like a puppet on strings, like a marionette. They just sort of slump up, pulled by an unseen force above them.
Cass?
Sal here? What's going on? He'll look at if he sees them coming together, he'll be like, Sal? Did Sal follow us?
And we cut to Ben Sahar, who's now made it to one of the barges. So this barge has a front of carrying silica sand, which is a major export for Wisconsin. It's a lot of the silos along the docks have silica sand or limestone sand and stuff like that, or straight limestone, but usually the sand. It's used in fracking, typically transported via Lake Michigan down through some waterways, and then it'll make it either to various docks, or sometimes it even goes all the way over to the Mississippi River, and they get it all the way down to New Orleans and out to Texas and stuff like that. It's kind of its main destination is heading to Texas. So it has the makings of a barge designed to do that. But Ben Sahar, we're going to start you in the middle of the scene as late as possible. Ben Sahar has since already thrown a tarp back and done one of these and just dusted a little bit of the limestone sand aside to reveal these husks. humanoid remains. And they are unnaturally black. The kind of black you only see in Umbra or at the bottom of Lake Michigan.
Delightful. All sorts of fun shit here. I'm gonna go ahead and
I mean, they're not quite Chucky dolls, but you make do with what you got.
And see if there's any sort of markings on them.
Yeah.
Or if they're just really desiccated.
Yeah, there's actually on the forehead there is a seal carved. It is a symbol you can record, whether you know the origins of it or not. It ties to some of the research you've already been doing here. I'm going to have you roll for it, though. Occult intelligence, to see if you've stumbled upon this particular.
Five.
You don't quite recognize the mark. Maybe it's specific to the business, or of what's going on here. But you recognize the handiwork, and that's almost more alarming. Maybe not alarming. Comforting? I don't know how Ben Sahar would feel about this. But this looks like the handiwork of one Dr. Mortius.
Oh, that fucking war criminal.
It's Morbin time.
And you... Maybe something Dante said a little bit ago. Maybe something Mercy relayed in one of your various meetings with her. And she mentioned they were looking into something called Red Mist. And she mentioned that she thought Dr. Mortius had something to do with it. You don't know if that's related, but there's no blood left in these bodies. And as you sort of maybe actually have to touch one of them, their skin is like a jellyfish. Just... they'll human husks, but whatever, they're just, this isn't how their remains should be. And that's, again, that color is black as pitch, inky, like tar.
I'm going to go ahead and keep looking through the rest of the vessel to see if there's anything else, or if this is all that's out of the ordinary.
You poke around long enough to understand that this was probably the fate of a lot of those folks on that boat back there. Or on the semi back there. Whatever is happening, they were going to end up on here. But this isn't where it's done. And why they'd be getting shipped anywhere? There might be a passenger, or there might be a cargo log if you're curious, but you highly doubt they'd be drive to the bad guy's house on the cargo log.
Yeah, but I was thinking about going there anyway, just to see, because it might not say we're going to the bad guy base, but there might be somewhere near bad guy base.
Cool. All right, so you head up in. You make it to the charts and stuff. You grab them, you look down. You start paging through them, and that doesn't make any damn sense. There's no port of call, there's no... The destination looks like it's in the middle of the damn lake. And you hear a voice right before we cut away. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. And I'm hoping you choose the hard way. And your beast does that steel thing in your stomach. The hairs prick up on end. You're in the presence of a predator, but not a predator. The predator to your species. Ben Sahar, the last time we did this, we didn't wake up. It says before you turn around. Y'all have these marionette corpses. We'll call it 3.5 of them have now sort of gathered around you. Pix and Cass, you turn to face them. I'll give you the initiative if you want it.
Almost definitely.
So they're coming at us threateningly?
I mean, as I'd say hauntingly, eerily. Threatening? I mean, can a corpse marionette be threatening? As they like sort of jerk and jaunt around and like even their feet come off the ground a little bit and they just sort of float forward. I'd say, yeah, they're threatening. Yeah, it's pretty threatening.
It worked for Ringo, right?
Big fan, by the way. Just call me Sadaku. Like, every time I promote our show, 5 days, 7 days. All right.
This is gonna sound crazy, but what if we just blew them up?
The C4 is supposed to be strategically placed, Pixie. I mean, we could lure them in here and box them up and make sure they get blown up.
Yeah. All right. I got an idea. I'll run around, distract them. You get those bombs placed. I'll lead them to where the bombs are.
We're going to do a skill challenge to do this. This went good for you the last time, Pixie.
It did.
All right. You need a total of dice over, I'm going to say, 3 rounds between the two of you to make the whole plan work. Pixie, you're going to be rolling your dexterity athletics to sort of like gather them up, but I'm going to need you to at one point do some sort of social skill amid that to like distract them. That's not to say it's like a pass-fail. Again, it's about the totals of dice. It's just this is the skills you're working with. Meanwhile, Cass, you need to do your explosives roll. What is even that? It's actually under.
It's science plus probably int, I imagine. Demolitions is under science.
Oh, based. Okay, yeah. So intelligence, science, and then demolitions you can add to it. And I'm going to need you to roll at 1.1 either strength athletics or dexterity athletics. So we'll go with the first round of your skill challenge. Y'all can roll. And just save the odd skill for the end. And we'll keep it some synergy there.
Gonna make a very poor decision and rouse. I got hungrier. I'm getting close to frenzying. Oh no.
Wait,
3 successes.
3 hunger now, Pix?
I'm at 4 hunger, actually.
The beast comes in. Yeah, this is a blast. We should do this more often.
It is, but you have to remember, everyone's lives are on the line right now.
Oh, that just makes it more exciting. The wind through your hair, the moonlight on your skin.
I would like to do that again.
We're free, Pix. We're free. We could be so free together.
Oh, we could, but it's not right.
What do you get?
All right, I am rolling right now, actually, so let's see.
Nope, I'm on the wrong. Oops. Sorry, everyone who can't see dice rolls because...
3 successes.
Okay. What do you get, Cass, for your explosives? 3 as well.
3.
So far, so good. The plan seems to be working. Pix sort of does her soaring leap thing, just dodging like 2 of these like oddly quick animated slashes from its fists, and you can notice the air sort of like splice just a little bit out in front of its fingertips. Like there's this sort of like heat shimmer or silhouette on the heat shimmer or mirage on the end of where its hands should be that it actually extends to. And you can even see, like, as you sort of, like, dodge past 2 of them, like, a crate nearby just sort of, like, gets cut in half as this sort of invisible string or something, this extension of it, just, this perhaps ectoplasm or something, distorts
Oh,
the
I
air.
don't like that.
We cut back to Ben Sahar, who's turned around. You see a rather feral-looking individual. Their eyes have turned sort of a jet black with these red sort of irises. They have extended canines, but also sort of like a pushing out sort of muzzle and almost canine-like features and bones structure. They're still human enough, but hulking, and their skin is sort of starting to turn that, sort of like the undercoat of a dog's skin almost splotches the way its fur is going to grow in. You can see their skin beginning to do that through the ripples of sinewy flesh underneath their security guard uniform, like the plain black t-shirt, the two bandoliers coming down on the shoulders. It says Hexion, security chief on it. Parrish is the name. Security chief Parrish. And they have sort of like this jet slick to the side hair. And they is swole. Like, this man is a brick shithouse and a half. And he just throws the SMG to the side, and you hear the bones underneath its body crack and contort as it's about to transform. That steel thing in your stomach doesn't stop. The last time you fought a werewolf, the odds were worse. There were Bali too, or not Bali, Sabat too, but moment of truth, Ben Sahar. Are we running? We can run, you know. It's a lupine. That's why. I don't feel like going into torpor again, do you?
I'm going to speak out loud and say, so you said easy or hard way? What exactly is your easy way?
Easy way is I get to kill you. Bite your fucking jugular right out of your neck. Spit it on the floor and watch you turn to ash, you fucking freak.
Somebody doesn't look in the mirror very often. Hard way is what?
I tear your head off slowly. And maybe I'll leave you alive just long enough for the doctor to do one of his experiments on you.
I don't like either of those options.
Easy or hard, I gave you a choice. I am a charitable wolf, after all. And the fur begins to come in, and I'm giving you initiative.
So as he's
Wolfing out or whatever?
As he's enjoying himself, and dick measuring, I'm gonna
He likes the hunt, okay.
Yeah. We use fleetness to apply some blood to the blade, and then we're going to use blink and shove the blade into the wolf.
This is going to be fun.
Sure.
Let's see your dice.
What could go wrong? Right?
Hey, there's reinforcements. There's several ways you can escape. This is like a carnival test your might thing. I just handed you the mallet.
All right. Fucking do this shit, right?
Shenanigans.
Just for fun, we'll willpower roll some stuff. 4 for the crit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that is also with a willpower reroll.
There's 14 dice coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll have the blood test if I do manage to damage it.
All right.
Which I hope I do, because 14 is about as awesome as I can do without more crits. That's also not counting the sword modifier, though. Again, I didn't add that in until I find out how much damage to do.
Minus your 14 by 9.
It'll be 8 damage with adding the sword.
8 adding the sword. This is not silver.
Nope. And then we'll have to resolve the blood. So it'll be 4 versus... I assume he's got something similar to fortitude, so it would be his stamina and fortitude versus my strength and archery. 4 on that.
Okay. Your blood poison doesn't seem to do anything. You see, like, you hit clean flush, kind of catch him right in the abdomen right as he finishes up his transformation into his half-wolf war form. And you're, like, pulling the blade back, and you see the wound close up just a little bit, kind of in real time before your eyes. My turn. And just these claws bearing down on you.
So when he's going to go for the claw, I guess I attack him again.
So we're looking for a difference between your dice pools here. Doing the Rochambeau thing.
Yeah, man. Two, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. No willpower reroll this time.
You are hit.
Okay.
You take 4 non-halved superficial damage.
Okay.
That's its turn. We cut back to the Operation Splode Ghost. I don't know if you came up
Ghost blasters.
yeah, Ghost Blasters, legally distinct from Ghostbusters. Operation Ghost Blasters. You're gonna y'all can set the scene now. You're in the skill challenge mode. You know what the stakes are. You know what you're doing. You roughly know the scene. So you may be Pix as she like leaps up that next time or whatever. You might be able to catch some like a pair of silhouettes. One of them very big, fighting on the barge.
Oh shit! What have they gotten themselves into? All right, now Pix. She wants to stay as far as she can out of those things' reach. So now she is just actively taunting them. Look at me, all dead flesh, baby. Gonna get some? And she like taps her disgusting little dead thighs, jiggling all the loose skin as she can.
Going for the social one on this one, then?
Oh yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go with manipulation and subterfuge on that. Or maybe even composure, just to like extra like I'm mocking these bitches. I'm mocking a bunch of ghosts. What's gonna happen? We don't know, but we'll see. That's only 2 successes.
Okay. All right. I mean, you seem to have their attention. And the one with a head still makes a noise, and the other ones like just do this weird, like almost like stop motion thing where in 1 minute they're kind of in one position and the next they're like 2 feet forward and they've already swung and their bodies are kind of recovering from this missed attack. What do you get for your continuing to like rig the explosives?
That is 4 successes this time.
Yeah, like, there is but one thing to say when you rig awesome explosives up. Supper time. Shoutouts to Billy Zane, Demon Knight. Awesome flick, by the way, if you haven't seen it, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Demon Knight. Super metal. Billy Zane as a demon is one of the coolest things ever. Sorry. All right, yeah, like the explosives are set. All that's left is to like help Pixie spring the trap, get the door closed, and like do a dramatic dive away type moment. Back to the barge. Ben Sahar.
Oh, we'll do a rouse check to yield to the damage. Succeed. Then we're gonna stab the wolf again. Why not?
Okay. It's going to take a page out of your book and nom you back.
Oh, of course. Actually, I haven't rolled too badly.
I'm saying you have a chance.
So you're saying I have a chance. All right, so 4, 5.
I think you
7,
actually have a higher dice pool than this
8,
guy.
9.
It just has like raw other stats, you know. I mean,
13. Oh, I'm sure.
5 get through.
All right, so that'll turn to 8, and then we got the blood test again.
Mm-hmm. That one looks like it hurt it.
It's going to be 5 this time.
Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, kind of a snowball's chance of this with this lands. Yeah, so you do the unhalved full damage as the difference. You got what? 5? Yeah, so you do like 1 full chunk of damage with that blood. It looks a little woozy after that, actually.
Here's a third option. We be friends. What do you think of that, huh? Seems better than the other 2 options, right?
We kill each other sounds way more fun, but we do serve the same purpose.
Well, we can always fight. We can always kill each other later. We just don't have to do it right now. Put a pin in it. We'll talk about it later. My people, your people, we'll talk.
So it's its turn. Consider this my handshake, it says. And it's going to go to punch its claws through your chest. And if you survive, then we'll talk.
If I survive. All right. This is what I was trying to avoid.
If you got willpower, spend it now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't even roll that good.
9?
Before 4 damage gets through.
Awesome.
How you doing there, buddy?
Awesome.
9-year-old sport.
So how many ag trackers are we missing right now?
2,
How many you got left?
3.
We can talk. It's like claw. It's got like one claw. You've got the sword up in it, and you're just in like I said. Let's call that the handshake. And it's just like grimacing down at you. It's not doing so hot either. You're fairly certain that like the next blow either way is kind of like dead to rights on each other. I mean, you also see its wounds healing in real time too. By the way, werewolves naturally regenerate. Who knows what they're going to do with V5, but to let the streets run red, they have their little like regen brackets every turn. So
I feel like you're shaking my kidney.
in my culture, the kidney's like the hand.
Wait.
I just made that up right now. I've lost a little bit of blood. Or my blood seems to be tainted by something. Back to Pix and Cass.
Where the bombs are set up, Pix is going to do something a little radical, as the kids would call it. I think she would get in real close to them, right where the bombs are, then do a little leap over them, one hand, like a if she had a skateboard, she'd be doing the sickest moves right now. But just
The
have
superhero
them
landing.
up on top and then run as fast as she can before those bombs go off.
All right, you got to roll it. Cass,
Alright,
same
let's
thing.
see.
You're doing the sort of close the door behind her type. Well, we'll see what Pix rolls first.
All right, Dex and athletics. Here goes. Please.
Yo!
3.
That's not too bad at all. All right. So Pix successfully kind of has taunted them, lured them inside where the bombs are. You do the classic, like, close the door, and then you're both, like, booking it in slow motion and, like, diving.
Last action hero style.
Cass is going to. He's going to surge it. I only got 2 successes, so he's gonna blood surge this.
Okay.
Okay, he's got 4 successes, and not hungrier. Not any hungrier.
Y'all beat my skill challenge with 1 point to spare.
Oh my god.
Not only do you do this, you make it look good.
Yeah.
All right. So as y'all are running away, we like hear like the Cass like is pulling out the little like RC car controller thing that he's like picked out a dumpster that'll work as the radio detonator for his purposes. It's like one with a little wheel on it and the little ratty antenna, and you just all he has to do is turn the wheel forward and it'll detonate. And he's kind of moving towards it as y'all run. Which direction do you run? Are you running towards the warehouse for cover? Are you running just like out? Like what's the plan here?
If Pix mentioned that something's going on the barge, Cass would be running towards that.
Don't think she had time, maybe.
Okay.
I know, definitely.
This is like an instinctual getaway from the big boom that's about to happen. That's probably going to be bigger. Well, no, you had like 4 successes on like the last setting of the bomb. Control, like where to set it to use the gas pipes, but not necessarily ruin it all immediately, not blowing up the whole facility yet. Because that gas pipe is going to be high pressure. It's going to start like a geyser of flame afterwards. And it's possible with like a second explosive Cass already set up somewhere else, he can get that flame to go internal and then blow up all the pipes underneath the facility. But we'll just leave that for a little bit later on as we wrap this up. So y'all run where? I just need to know for some purposes.
I guess Cass would instinctively run for cover.
Okay.
Wherever that may be.
Cover happens to be the...
tailing behind.
Okay, so the cover happens to be the next warehouse. Like, it's the safest. It's a big, sturdy building. Y'all are just, like, hightailing it, running in slow motion. And you're in slow motion so that we can have a normal conversation, you and I. You're rolling a manipulation, persuasion. Your final attack of the round is on the social sphere. Ben Sahar. You've initiated the handshake. What are your terms?
I just have some relevant information for his employers, and I needed to get in conversation with some people that make decisions here, because supposedly there's going to be a local movement against PENTEX.
Isn't that what this is now?
I didn't actually do anything yet before you started shaking my kidneys.
2 guards disagree.
Well, if they would shot at you, you would have the same response.
They didn't shoot at you. One fell, and the other one got its head cut off before it knew you were there. Sternum remodeled. Look, I might keep a rather impressive physique, but I'm not an idiot.
I didn't say you were an idiot.
Guard chief.
You're telling me that they would not have shot me if they saw me.
I haven't torn your kidney out yet.
Yeah, that's because they're holding my kidney. They weren't holding my kidney. Different displacement of power here.
Point being, nothing is a very liberal usage of what occurred here.
You act like you care about the humans.
Chief, guard chief, or guard captain, or whatever.
Oh?
I take some pride in my job. Don't you?
No, because I'm the boss where I work.
Wait, where's that?
One of the clubs in town.
Need a bouncer?
Bouncers don't own the club.
Sorry, what was that?
Said bouncers don't own the club.
No, I asked if you needed a bouncer.
I mean, I could always use one.
But PENTEX and such, they pay good for my... I don't know what if Werewolf is updating the terminology for clans or whatever, but he's like, for my pack.
I mean, I'm sure. I didn't say you had to quit. You could do both. As long as they're not conflicting, of course.
So you're selling out the other worm? The other of your kindred, I think is what you call them? That's kind of cold.
That's fun. That's fun. I'm getting judged now by the PENTEX employee.
I'm consistent. Tear out
Why?
kidneys. That's it's on my resume right here.
I mean, I have more important ones to get rid of than those two.
Do you want to meet with my boss?
Once you let go of my kidney, yes.
I think you're rolling dice to see if if Parrish continues to humor you, or if they perish the thought.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of adorable, the name. I'm here to murder you. My name is Parrish.
Dramatic irony is what the storyteller calls it. Whoa,
Right, Parrish.
tainted love.
Wasn't Parrish a funny guy? Actually, fun fact. Do you know how Black Spiral has come up with their werewolf name? It's often the sound of bone snapping or the first sound of their new birth.
Almost like I put some thought into this thing's name.
I just think it's funny. Six.
Remove your sword. I'll let go of your kidney. And you got yourself a new bouncer, and I charge extra for being a messenger. There's no kidneys to rip out in post.
That's all right. Because if you let go of my kidneys, I can back up and get the sword out, you know?
You first.
Awkwardly,
between the two of us, you're still the least trustworthy. Pulls its claws out, and then the other one, just that were kind of up in your shoulder type thing. Lick some of it off of its paw. Oh, that was interesting. Never almost killed someone who offered me a job before.
The day of first.
I'm still. So you want to talk to the boss?
I mean, as long as they're not a human, that they kind of don't understand.
I can put you in touch with let's call him the branch manager. A doctor. Kind of a and then we hear the explosion outside. In the moments where this thing's turning its head and you're perhaps blinking away, do you leave some contact information for it?
I leave a blank card that has a number on it. I don't leave the anything card.
Okay. So just like a direct line to a burner or something. All right.
I mean, it could be my cell phone number. I just don't want it. I just don't want anything on there because I don't know if it's going to change its mind afterward.
All right. It's an explosion. Some of the debris smashes through bits of this like other warehouse, not the one that the people were being transported into. And the other warehouse is where my nomenclature becomes deceptive. It is far less a warehouse and far more a building. It's just about the same size as that warehouse. And you can see like a sort of like a exterior wall of it gets kind of like knocked out with some of the shrapnel and explosion. And true to form, because there's a gas line and you blew it up, there's a geyser of fire into the air, which is what happens with high pressure gas like this. It's bad news. However, as long as that gas continues to be on fire blowing upwards, it's actually safer than any other state it could currently be in. Because as long as the gas continues to burn upward, it doesn't burn back into the pipe, and that's when you have real big problems, because then you have contained energy in a confined space, and boom. Using my real-life knowledge of having my gas line certifications, everybody.
Whoa,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So, you see this like sort of internal facility. Cass, you can feel the network come online here. Maybe it was the explosion that shunted you someplace else, and you're back on a battlefield. Much like before, that haze of gas is everywhere. Racer wire, trenches, a couple tanks, and much like many of your visions, it's got conflicting time periods all represented in the same war scene. So tanks that shouldn't be in there with trench warfare, horses with gas masks, with ridden by folks with Thompson guns, which haven't come out yet, and so on and so forth. Soldiers that still have like big plumes and ostentatious like Napoleonic armor, mixed with this sort of like pallid, colorless, mushy, dull uniforms of Allied forces from later on, and so on and so forth. You can Pix sees lab hands, lab techs, various sort of like warehouse and factory workers following their evacuation plans. There's just been a flippin' explosion, and even if it is a seedy PENTEX shadow business or whatever, there's still been an explosion. So sirens come on, folks begin to exit. They sort of take the most direct paths they can towards safety, and they start filtering out through their little various places. You can see them following in clutches and gathering in places. Pix, between obfuscate and sort of like just a natural ability to sort of blend it with crowds that you pick up as being an Nosferatu of any point in time, you're fairly certain you could use this sort of sea of people to escape. And you think that's maybe a good idea. Your survival instincts, after all. Oh, and they're people. Oh, they're people, Pix. They have blood in them.
We're not eating any of them. After, okay? I'm gonna get us the biggest bag of O negative ever, and we'll drink that for the rest of the night.
It's not as good anymore, and you know it.
Just shut the fuck up and let me get Cass out of here.
Wait, where the fuck is that? What's the derogatory term for Malkavians? I know fish is what you call the bad role players of Malkavians.
Ones that aren't ableist, I would say, Moonchild, maybe?
Yeah, like Moonbrain or something like that, maybe, like, would be
Yeah.
a little, like, kind of between it's a little bit of a ably, but I have bipolar, I'm allowed to be discriminatory against crazy
You're right,
people.
he has the pass.
Yeah, I get the pass. It's my word for it. So where's that Moonbrain, or where's that, Moonbrain or whatever, and you do one of those double takes, and Cass isn't exactly where he was like 1 second ago. I mean, there's an explosion, And then you and Cass, and he was even like laughing a little bit about it. And then his laughter, like you even were still hearing it, and and he's just not there. In fact, where the hell is Batty? You haven't seen her since the lights.
I like first psychically, I reach out for Batty through a bond.
Hey, sis, I'm just keep an eye on our weird friend. Well, your friend. He's your friend, not my friend. I don't like that asshole. Fuck him. You know he rummages through your things when you're unconscious, right? What a weirdo. Who would do that?
We're gonna go back to that, Batty, but just all right, stay with him, okay?
He says it was your permission, but I was on to him.
Of course, I know you're that kind of bitch, Batty. All right,
Always got your
I'm
back.
gonna evacuate the group.
You're my number one.
You know where I am. Same girl. And I am going to start evacuating with the people.
You're going to evacuate the people, not with...
Yeah, I pull up my hoodie and, like, just blend in.
All right, you'll have, true to form, you get to have your agency over Batty now, since Pixie sort of, like, exited the scene for the time being, and you've got a bad eye view on Cass, who's begun to wind through the facilities. Cass, you're not winding through the facilities. Initially, you went into a bunker. You heard cries of your fellow soldiers. You never leave them behind. You know that. It's basic training. You always go back, and the explosion went off, and you did everything you were supposed to. You got the target. You hit it. You hit it hard. No one was in it. No one was near it. No, you know. Sarge said, or the lieutenant said, no one will be in it. It should be clear. You're always. I mean, you got to be careful. This is your MOD. The first thing before you even get to touch the explosives, safety. Controlled blasts. Only the targets. And you hear the cries of your soldiers. Cass, help us. Cass. Explosions. Too big. The gas. And you just hear like coughing and whispering. And it all sort of becomes this discordant choir of sorrow and death and all manner of things. And they're sort of leading Cass through these... At first, this trench, and then the trench mud walls sort of fade into concrete as you reach a bunker, and you can look up and you see this facility, this sort of shell, concrete, and it's got the little slots for the gunfire lines that would, poke their weapons out and stuff like that. And you've got the steel doors underneath it that you would enter in, and one of them's ajar, like it's been blown in. And there's this noxious sort of weird luminescent green gas coming out of it. It's not right.
Don't like that. Cass does not fuck with gas.
Cass is currently wearing like a gas mask, one of the old school like World War I ones, It's got the like big rebreather comes off a hose.
I hate this shit. I really hate this shit.
It's not your handiwork. From Batty's perspective, like sonaring, and we also have a little bit of like we also get a little bit of like a limited third-person omni view over Batty's shoulder. He's just winding through like a weird like lab facilities with these little steel tables and various very surgical. Everything's very surgical. There's vats and tubes, and there's these like cloth walls everywhere on little rails, like shower curtains. There's little hazmat areas, and it's this whole place has this like clinical smell to it. It's the rubbing alcohol. It's sort of burnt hair smell, and just smell of like powdered latex. It just Batty.
A frighteningly human place.
Hmm?
A frighteningly human place. And I imagine Batty, it's where's this fucking asshole at? God damn it.
She sees him getting on an elevator, just in a sort of fugue state.
Would Batty be able to swoop in and fly into the elevator before the doors close?
Yes.
They do. She does so. And I imagine Cass feels a little thing. Actually, she lands on his shoulder, crawls up, and just immediately just starts squeaking in his ear.
Cass, a hand, touches your shoulder. We going in, partner? Petty Officer Cantrell is with you. Gas mask, everything. You've flown 100 missions, or not flown, but you've done 100 missions with Cantrell. It just all comes back to you in that instant. Of course, exactly where the hand is, from our perspective, is where Batty landed.
Who's currently squeaking furiously into his ear to get out.
Yeah, we gotta do this, Canty.
What is I will be the hallucination translation for Batty. What does Batty say as in their weird sort of cobweb way?
Listen here, dipshit. Pixie's already out, and if you don't get your ass out of here, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. Just move your fucking cinderblock feet and let's go.
All right. Canty says, all right, but we got to make it quick. I don't like this.
I don't like it either. That's why we got to do what we got to do. All right.
Recon.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's came what we came to see, and then let's get out of here.
Oh, you stupid fucking bastard.
Batty is hearing like 1-to-1 is hearing what Cass is saying.
Oh, that is spooky.
But Cass isn't. What Cass is hearing from Batty isn't a 1-to-1. And then like the stupid fucking bastard still comes through, but instead of it being like a derisive or like it's like, all right, you stupid fucking bastard, like like it's a endearing, is what you get in your moment.
Yeah.
You go through the bunker doors, the elevator doors open in a subterranean level. Batty doesn't quite make sense of all the numbers and stuff. Batty just knows she's on this thing for a while, and it's closed, and it's cold, and it's weird, and it's echoey. Too echoey. Anytime she would give one of her subsonic chirps, she just gets overwhelmed with the depth of her sight. And Cass, in his vision, is winding through halls like a mirror madhouse. They cease to make sense. Logical sense as we get Cass's perspective in the war. The walls aren't made of materials they should be made out of. They're, at once horror show, viscera and, like I said, horror show, House of a Thousand Corpses stuff, and then like war, and it's just almost this glaring sort of like psychological metaphor. Some real Jacob's Ladder shit for the hell that Cass has been through. And Cass walks with sort of that 1,000-yard stare that we've come to kind of expect from Cass. Really intense. Doesn't make eye contact often, but when he does, it's really intense. And we get all the intensity without any of the eye contact part. As for him, this is Tuesday. The door is open. Now he's in all these little chambers. He walks through, and Batty sees these sort of tanks, ceiling to floor, huge oblong things, enclosed cylinders, with this green, like, fluid bubbling inside of it. And Batty can make out with her chirps the occasional shape and silhouette. Something roughly humanoid, but a little bit too big and a little irregular.
Oh no.
And Cass gets to the end when he sort of like snaps out of it. There are some military fatigues. and a duffel bag. And on the tags it says Rio. On the last tank in the room. Cass is holding the dog tags. And he's not in the war anymore. But the war never ends.
He'll like clutch the dog tags in his fist. And just like bow his head a little bit.
We see this inhuman hand touch on the glass, kind of where his head is bowed. We don't see quite the form on the other side, but we hear this almost like whales groan through the fluid. Mournful, painful, inhuman. Cass knows exactly what it said to him.
Does he have any of that C4 left?
It's been moments later. Ben Sahar has exited, is evacuated, managed to meet up with Pix. Moments later, the crowd begins to thin. Pix, Ben, waiting at the tree line. People are starting to get debriefed. It's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable as the security troop begins to make its rounds. And then you finally see him. You see Cass, just sort of beside you, RC car controller in hand. Dog tags in the other. Or you see the RC car in one hand with the dog tags wrapped around the wrist.
Batty on his shoulder.
And Batty on his shoulder. Cass is simultaneously in two realities. Batty is the hand on the shoulder again with Cantrell behind him. And he has the war in the forest, and then he's looking out and he sees the building. And there he can almost, from his perspective, we can almost see in one eye the war cutting this facility in half. And on the other side, Rio, the building, PENTEX. Do you activate it?
Yeah, Cass will kind of look down and just sort of, he'll look at his companions and he'll just say, War is hell. A never-ending hell. And then he'll press the button.
The facility goes up at first in a huge explosion, and then it begins to like sort of implode as the struts and structures collapse inward. And Cantrell's hand on your shoulder, nodding, and just sort of like begins to fade into the ether of your memories, and just Batty's there instead, with Pix sort of standing right behind, sort of like in the eye line of Batty and stuff. And then you've got Ben Sahar off to the other side. Sort of, we've got Ben Sahar in classic cinematography manner, body away from the camera, looking elsewhere at a shadow on the lake. And we'll call it there. So I was playing a dwarf rogue, and the moral of the story is never let me play a rogue. Just never. The whole character's premise, and I didn't say like what it was. I just like explained what I was doing, you know. And they're like, "Are you tagging?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm tagging." Like, so it's like the whole thing is like I would climb to the highest place and I would put my like my insignia on it. This actually,
it's such a nice little quirk though for a character. Like it just adds so much like what's the term I'm looking for? Depth.
right, and the whole thing is like a little like I tend not to play cowards, but it like a little bit cowardly. Like something would happen, I immediately hide, like just like like just doing stuff like that.
I love sneaky little shit character.
Oh god, this character was great. I'm gonna clip that shit and just make the VOD into like the little episode. And I got to finish that later. But I was playing the character and they're like, you're just tagging, aren't you, Mephisto? I'm like, yes, I am. But it's based in like actual like anthropology. They discovered that like like memes, just sort of like culturally speaking, go back all the way back to cave paintings and stuff, where they found out that like these anthropologists and archaeologists were like trying to figure out like why certain paintings would be like higher and higher up on the cave wall.
Oh yeah, like it was like a Nordic rune. It was like Spjorbjorn has been here.
And they just found, and that's exactly what it was. They found out it was just like they would have these games where they would just see who could get the highest up the mountain or the inside of the cave wall, and that was my character's premise. Is like my character was the person who tried to get their
okay. That's so fucking awesome though, because like that is one of the things that gets me weirdly emotional is prehistoric humanity, because you don't think about that quite a bit, and it just shows that like we have always been compassionate, creative, all these things. I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna cry if I think about it too much.
Well, no, the human brain as it exists is about 300,000 years old, like as it currently exists, and our DNA as it currently exists is about 260,000 years old. Like we haven't significantly changed. Like we've to even say that we've advanced is a very like Eurocentric Western lens of our own like history of humanity. Like advanced by what standards? Because we have far less leisure time than we've ever had as a species. You know, like that's not to say it was better off. We were all better off as like serfs and stuff. But this notion that like just we de facto advance when systemically we're stunted, and that we have had these many sort of great like aspects to humanity for hundreds of thousands of years, and it is only a relatively recent lens. We're talking a couple thousand at most of like this version of humanity, and only 200 of our specific reality we magnify and look at everything through. So like people say like, oh, humans are parasitic, they're parasites. They love to quote the Matrix and sound intelligent, like, oh, they're a disease. And it's like,
but reality is we are much as part of the ecosystem as anything, like land stewardship.
Right, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, like, with land stewardship, for instance, like, my tribe, for instance, controlled burns. Like, the reason why Europeans walked through America and found a garden of food is because we cultivate it. We are just as much as part of the environment as deer, the frogs, the pebbles. Not just, God, I sound like a Disney movie.
No, keep going. No, you're not wrong. Like people think that the Disney view is wishy-washy and weird, and like, no, actually, like, that's the dominant way humanity was, prior to a colonialism starting to happen.
Like the Bible thing, like man was made to rule over animals. Nope, we're just
supposed to coexist with them, and
we're just as much a part of the environment.
Yeah, humanity isn't a disease. Capitalism is. Like, that's the parasite.
By the way, if any billionaires are watching and you have a heart condition, hi, I'm Abby. I'm 20 years old, and I think I'm a really fun gal, and you should let me live in your studio apartment, and also leave me in your well.
No, but it's like if humanity was this parasite, if humanity was this disease that like the Matrix and edgelords and nihilists love to say we are, we'd have eradicated the Earth those 300,000 years ago when our brains first developed into like kind of rough the same size and shape that it is now. When Homo sapien sort of became the dominant species, like our brains had the capacity for compassion and leisure and community, and we didn't actually go around smashing each other's heads with rocks unless we were literally starving.
What we did was there were cave people who were disabled, injured, who were treated, and as far as like I said, I'll cry if I think about it too much.
We needed to literally work together to exist as a species, and this
we're a
fucking
social
reckless
animal.
individual garbage take is just fascist propaganda. I fucking did it. I went full
Precisely.
anarchist at
No, and I love it.
7 minutes in. All right, we got there. Mephisto got his anarchist spiel out the way.
Speaking of anarchs, or lack thereof, vampires.